So I don't really have a goal for today's ride. Now this is our it's our first completely solo ride in a few months, because I've come off a couple of times, and the first one was in a different saddle and Fiora was not a fan of it, I was not a fan of it, became unbalanced, he had a little moment, and that was okay. I got really upset, knocked my confidence a lot, but you know, I understood kind of what happened. And the second time was literally just walking home from a really good lesson, and he was just relaxed on a loose rein, and then he must have been zoned out. A tree touched him and he freaked out and went up in the air. So that was scary, but again, I can understand why it happened. Now the last time we went out completely alone was when, well, we weren't even completely alone, we weren't meeting anyone, we went out alone, and he is normally really good about ignoring other horses, but this particular time, again, it was my first ride in the saddle that I came off in, and he started whinnying and pig rooting on the spot and trying to follow them, and it was really stressful. I got off and we walked, I led him the entire 5Ks just about. I did get back on at the end, but that was really quite upsetting and it knocked my confidence a lot. So thankfully I have a really lovely friend who meets me probably 15 minutes into the trail, and we go out a few times a week. Well, we try to go out twice a week together. So that's been really good. And it does mean that we do this part of the trail by ourselves every single time, and the end of the trail alone. So really, and this is me trying to psych myself up and talk myself off the edge, you know, the easiest part is what we're going to work on today, the middle, by ourselves. And like, the silly thing is, like, I'm a psychologist, I know how anxiety works, I know how being scared of stuff works. It's never as scary as I think it's going to be. And no, it's all in my head, because Fiora is actually a really good horse. But it's just something in that lead up, the anticipation, that makes me just think, do I even want to ride? Like, this is supposed to be fun. Like, do I want to go out if I'm going to be completely by myself? And I do, and I know I do, because every time I don't, A, the anxiety gets worse, because that's how anxiety works, and B, I always regret it. I think, God, I should have just gone for a ride. Like, the weather's lovely, you know, Fiora's sound, I'm sound. Now this is where we've been meeting our friend, so we'll see. Good boy, come on. What he thinks, because now he's gonna know we're not meeting anyone. Good boy. A little bit unsure, but that's okay. Good boy. Okay, alright, well, that's one of the hard parts done. And I'm trying to remember to talk, because otherwise I have to do voiceover later, and that just makes me not want to film videos, because, you know, why would I want to do that? You know, I wonder if we're going to get any yelling from Mr. Fiora. Maybe, but maybe not. So the way I kind of convinced myself to go out this morning was to say, you know what, we can turn around. If I feel too anxious, or if he's, you know, in the mood, we can turn around, and that's okay, and I can hop off, because I know a lot of people think like, oh no, don't hop off, that's the worst thing you can do, but horses obviously can pick up on your own anxiety. If you're riding, my trainer calls it defensive riding, so if you're white knuckling it and you're braced and you're just ready for, you know, shit to hit the fan, horses pick up on that. And because they're prey animals and we are predators, if they think, oh my god, the predator is scared of something, then I must be really scared of something, and they don't realize that, you know, they are the one contributing to the fear. So yeah, what I was saying, if you're defensive riding and you're feeling really worried and upset and kind of panicking, just hop off. You know, have an emergency exit, a voluntary emergency exit. You can get back on. But I do think the getting back on is the important part, because otherwise we're going to reinforce the anxiety, which we don't want to do. Good boy. Come on, we're still going. And I think a lot of the time a common, not trap, but a common, you know, thing that happens, or pattern, if you will, is saying, oh, I'm going to try it unless I'm too anxious. And that is how we reinforce anxiety. So we get too anxious, we don't try the thing, you know, and then our brain goes, see, told you, it was scary, and that's why we didn't do it, and we're alive because we didn't do it. But if you can say, I'm going to do it until my anxiety reduces by half, then that is the way to not reinforce anxiety. So when I started this ride, I would say my anxiety was probably, realistically, it's probably a 6 out of 10, because like I said before, we do the start of the trail by ourselves every time we go out, so that's not, you know, that's not new. Right now I'd say it's probably a 4. Like, I'm pretty tense, but you know, yapping to the camera is helpful. Fiera is being pretty good, Boy's being very good. He's just a bit confused, I think, why we're not meeting anybody. That's okay. It's gonna be when we go home, if we can keep it at a walk, that would be super duper good. But I think when we turn back to go home is when the anxiety may peak. But that's okay, we're doing it. I can get off if I want to. I don't want to, because I do enjoy riding, obviously, and I like achieving things and being able to say, you know what, I was scared but I did it anyway, which I think is just the theme of my horse riding journey. Come on, there's no boogeyman. And the really frustrating part of this is that we used to do this by ourselves every week, sometimes, you know, twice a week. So it's, you know, just getting back into it for him, getting back into it for me. Come on. Good boy. Yeah. We're not going bush bashing. We are just having a nice, relaxing ride. Come on. I'm happy to turn around here. Good boy. We're gonna walk home, aren't we? Okay, like I said, anxiety's picked up a little bit, and that's okay, and that's because he's calling out, and who knows why he does that. He does that most rides, to be honest. But I used to think it was endearing, because he's quite a quirky boy, and I used to think it was just one of his quirks that he liked to call out. But then someone once was like, oh my god, like, are you okay? Like, you know, what's happening? Because he was calling out. And then that was enough in my head to go, okay, well, obviously him calling out means he's gonna like throw me off. Which, you know, every time I've come off, he's been silent. So logically, we know that that's not true. But then he starts getting a little bit, you know, I don't know. You can see a little bit different. And then I think, oh, okay, we're gonna die. But we're not gonna die because, you know, we're all gonna have fun, to quote Abby Lee Miller. Anyway, if you can tell, I have not taken my ADHD medication today, but that's all right. Because this is, you know, a TED talk that you weren't probably interested in, but I'm going to say it anyway, because it is a stimulant medication. It makes your heart go faster, and while cognitively it does a reverse and helps slow things down, and helps with focus and everything, it is still a stimulant, so physiologically makes your heart go faster, which then, if you're already an anxious person like moi, it can make you feel more anxious, and we did not need that energy today. So I thought, no, I will take it when I get home, and so therefore you get the yappy, distracted, tangent version of Carly. So apologies or enjoy, depending on, you know, how you feel. But anyway, like I was saying, makes your heart go faster, don't need extra anxiety. Turning around, I'd say probably got up to, you know, 7.5 out of 10, if I'm being honest. A little bit, oh dear. Now I'm gonna say maybe a 5, maybe a 4. He's being very good, I think. And one of my favorite things about him is he's quite unpredictable in that sometimes he'll want to race home, sometimes we'll come to a hill and he'll power up it at the speed of light. But every time I've been really worried or really anxious or thinking about getting off, he just walks. Like, he'll just plod. And I think, like, I call it unpredictable, but that's one of my things about him that I really, really value, because he knows and he asks if he can Zoom. And if I say no, 9 times out of 10, he will just accept that without fuss. He always listens. He'll never take off without me approving it. Well, he never take off without me approving it if he's asked first. Sometimes he forgets to ask and I have to tell him to stop, but he always comes back, which is very much appreciated. But yeah, he's a really, really good boy. Not trade him for the world. We just got to teach Tornado that he is also going to be the best boy in the whole world, and then I'm going to have 2 best boys in the whole world. How lucky am I? He's such a funny little boy. He's so docile and chill and cuddly, and then every now and then you just see his brain cells, I don't know, burn out, and he forgets how to be a horse, and he'll just take off. He's very fast. Or at feed time he can be a bit of a evil mofo, but we're working on it. He's getting a lot better. He just needs that consistency. And I need to remember that he's a baby horse. He's only 8 months old. He is not Fiero. Well, Fiero is also an evil mofo, but we've worked on that, and I'm finding that they definitely need different approaches, which makes sense because they're completely different personalities. So because Fiero and I have such a solid foundation relationship, if I correct him and kind of chase him off, he'll go, oh, mum's upset, better listen to her. But because Tornado's not traumatized and he's a baby, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like being chased off, which is fair. I wouldn't like being chased away from my food either. But he's not evil. He's just a baby. Okay? Because in my head he's going to learn all of your good traits and none of the, we're not going to call them bad traits, all of the quirks. None of them. But that's very unrealistic and unfair. So reality check for Carly. Okay. You're very good. Hey, he's very good. Okay, maybe when I said I had a goal, that wasn't very true. My goal was to get on the horse, not come off the horse involuntarily rather. Stay at a walk. We did all those things, which is really good. I mean, we're not home yet, but just about home. Okay, you were very good, Fiero. Oh dear. We'll just have to see what happens when Tornado realizes we're home. Because only one time have we had an issue. And I had the joyous experience of my lovely trainer saying, "One rein, stop!" Because Tornado had one of his little brain fart moments and took off galloping through the paddock, which scared the shit out of Fiero and me. But mainly Fiero was more scared than anything. He was shaking, poor little thing. I guess we have to walk past the very scary shower block. So the people next door to us run a yoga retreat, love that. And I think they must do like overnight stuff, because I don't even know if it is a shower block. That's what I've decided it is. Not that I've ever seen anyone in it or heard anyone in it, but it's got a water tank and it's got those gaps in it. So, you know, could be a shed, but oh well. Fiero's usually a bit wary of it. And they've been putting a new roof on their house, which has been really noisy. Lots of grinding, lots of banging. And so both of the horses are a bit like, oh, that's the place where the noises come from. Alright, where is your brother? Who's gonna see him first? There he is! What you doing, buddy? Hey? I'll be really mindful not to click my tongue, because that is Fiero's code for go faster. Hey, sweet boy! Oh, he's looking like he's gonna zoom, zoom, zoom. Are you? Oh, there's that. The leaves. Alright, you, brakes. What are they? Wait for baby. Wait for baby. And baby stopped walking. Because this is what happened. He thought he was trapped in the top bit of the paddock, and then he figured out he wasn't, but we were already all the way down to the house. Well, now he's peeing. Okay, he's coming. We put our brakes on. Right. Good boy. Oh, he's just walking. He has got his brain cells today. That's good. Or does he? Bum, bum, bum. Nope, he doesn't. I know. I know. Good boy. No, we're not eating, we're walking.